Hello everybody, this is PScat100 and welcome back to some more Miles Edgeworth AAI2 Investigations 2 Prosecutor's Path, the Grand Turnabout. It has been way too long since I've opened this up and started to record it. So it's not for lazy editing or not wanting to edit. I just didn't have any stuff to record and I've been so busy lately. From what I can remember, in the previous episode, we had uncovered that the president of Zhangfa was John's father, and that Judge Courtney was not John's real mother. We need to find out how he's dealing with this. If you like what you see, leave a like down below, comment if you have anything to say, subscribe to me if you haven't already, and share with your friends so they can join in on this investigation. April 6th, 4:51 p.m. outside Grand Tower temporary film lot. John. So that guy was my dad. He found out about his own birth so suddenly. And furthermore, his newfound father is no longer in this world. I'd always been searching for my dad. John. I get it, alright? He's the president. I know it's a complicated situation. But we even met face to face during the filming. So then why? Huh? Why didn't he tell me who he really was? I'm sorry, John. Mom, you don't need to apologize. No matter how you look at it, it's my fault. Yesterday, I broke my promise with you and didn't even notice the fire on the roof. So I destroyed everything. I crushed it all. My dad, and those flowers that Mom carefully grew. John! Please, for now, just don't think about anything. Just stay like this for a while. Just for a little while, okay? Bond between a parent and child. That's the meaning behind the line, Lilies. I know it's not my style, but that flower is from Zhangfa. However, we have no means of protecting that bond. Agent Lang, allow me to say this. The case won't be solved by sentimentality alone. Therefore, shouldn't we do all that we can to solve it? Yeah, you're right. The recreation of the past is finished. Were your father's deductions correct? My old man took his deductions to the grave. He never told anyone about them. So who knows if they were right or not. In that case, what about your own deductions? I would like to hear what you think happened based on recreation. In order for us to get closer to the truth of 12 years ago. Yeah, I was thinking it's about time. I can see it now. My old man's back, real close. I'll catch up to him for sure. To the truth that my old man uncovered. Alright, let's find out what the truth is. The truth of the SS5 incident. There's no mistaking that the president went to the orphanage. The stuffed toy is proof of that. He was planning to meet with Amy Marsh. However, the president was kidnapped, and Cameron just happened to witness it. If Cameron hadn't been there, it probably would have been just a kidnapping with no murder. Afterwards, the body was moved to the flower beds and the fake photo was taken. Was that what really happened 12 years ago? However, there's one thing I still don't get. Something you don't get? It's this. Why do they need to fake a photo? Why would they go through all that trouble even to make the president take part in the photo? That's true. However, the answer to that riddle must lie somewhere within. Once we get past the layers upon layers of deductions, we shall surely reach it. Yeah, that's right. I'd like to hear your deductions as well. Alright, we got a rebuttal. It's been a while, but the case is starting to come back to me, so let's give it a shot. There's no mistake that the president went to the orphanage. Alright, let's see. Alright, well, yeah, let's press that. Agent Lang, I'd like to verify a few things that may have seemed obvious at first glance. Are we certain that the president actually went to the orphanage? Okay, I get it. You're saying you want proof. Everyone's always demanding proof from Mr. Edgeworth, after all. You didn't have to tell them that. Stuffed toy is proof of that. He was planning to meet with Amy Marsh. Hold it! You mean the stuffed animal? The one with the recording device? That's right. Inside that toy was a recording from John's birth mother, Amy Marsh. Indeed. She said that she would meet with him at midnight. Wow, you two are perfectly in sync. The truth is becoming clear, like you're peeling off the layers of a scallion. Okay, a scallion doesn't have anything on the inside. Please don't make such foreboding analogies. The truth is becoming clear, like you're peeling off the skin of a wolf. Can you stop making those foreboding analogies? Back on track. However, the president was kidnapped, and Cameron just happened to witness it. Hold it! I'd also like to verify the details of this point as much as possible. Mr. Cameron witnessed the president and his kidnapper near the orphanage. And Mr. Cameron was standing by the snowman head near the road. Then the murderer picked up a brick, snuck up on him, and wham! Okay, we're simply verifying what actually transpired. There's no need to be scared. That was so intense. Half the details of this case just vanished from my brain. Mr. Edgeworth, Mr. Lang, let's carefully verify all the facts of this case. Yeesh. Well, if you're gonna listen, I'll talk as much as you want. Cameron hadn't been there, it probably would have just been a kidnapping with no murder. Hold it! If he hadn't been there, you say? That's an interesting theory. Care to explain in more detail? It's simple. Cameron was killed because he saw the kidnapping. The kidnapping itself was a success. If he hadn't been there, no blood would have been spilled. No blood would have been spilled. You make it sound like it was his own fault for being there. Okay, that's not it. What Agent Lang is trying to say is... simply, besides Mr. Cameron, there were no other casualties at the crime scene. Oh, was that all? Of course, that's obvious. The president was kidnapped, but... once the ransom money was paid, he was returned safe and sound. That sounds like an obvious point. However, something about it bothers me. I may need to reevaluate the evidence once more. You done explaining things to your assistant? I still have one last thing to confirm. Afterwards, the body was moved to the flower beds and the... okay. That's not what I meant to do. Thank goodness. Alright. R is what I wanted to do. It's Cameron's autopsy report. Belonged to someone other than the victim. Objection! The eyewitness, Cameron, had not been there, no murder would have taken place. Is that really the case? The criminal's goal was only to kidnap the president. There were no witnesses, there would have been no need to commit murder, right? And what if Cameron wasn't the only one who was murdered? There was a large bloodstain near the flower beds. However, Cameron was murdered near the snowman. Ergo, this bloodstain could not have belonged to Cameron. Someone else's blood was spilled, and quite a vast amount at that. Hey, Mr. Prosecutor. Do you have any idea what you're saying? I do. It's hard to believe, however, that this is what the evidence indicates. On that night, 12 years ago, there were 2 murders. Are you saying that the other murder was covered up? Just who the heck could have been killed? A murder that was cleverly concealed. All traces of it were erased, and the incident itself was completely deleted from the case files. However, there's one piece of evidence that still remains intact after 12 years. The victim's shoes? That seems plausible. Plausible, excuse me. Take that! Agent Lang, this is not the correct evidence. No, that's too far back. Unless... This is stupid. I should be able to... Oh, the drawing. Right? Take that! The other murder incident was buried in the dark by Blaze the Best. However, there is still one piece of evidence that remains. Agent Lang, it survived by your father's hands. The old man, you say? Please recall. Ooh. There was one more thing that was hidden along with the trace of the murder. And that is the existence of the boy who caused the fire. Why did Blaze make the boy disappear? It's because he saw something that he wasn't supposed to see. What was that? What was that thing he wasn't supposed to see? Everything is drawn in this picture. The drawing my old man had. The person drawn on the right is most likely the president. I'm not sure who said that actually. The Mozilla doll is also drawn near him. And the person standing opposite him is none other than the silent assassin himself. Siren Dogan. Take that! A man with a knife and a large black dog. He's none other than Siren Dogan. What? The assassin? Why would an assassin appear before a president? The answer is clear. Indeed, what occurred that night in the orphanage grounds 12 years ago was not a kidnapping. It was the presidential assassination. Jesus Christ. Then Miss Rowland and Mr. Blaze were... Yes, the two were likely partners in crime. One furnished the orphanage to the users of the scene of the incident, and the other covered up the young boy's testimony. It's likely that Mr. Cameron was murdered because he witnessed the assassination itself. After all, the kidnapping never actually happened. Stop messing around. You're saying that the president was assassinated 12 years ago? We just found his body today. He's been alive up until now. That's right. I mean, we met him ourselves. The president was assassinated 12 years ago, and the president's body was found today. That would imply there were two presidents. Yeah, and that can't be right. Are you sure about that? There is a possibility that there were two presidents. That's right. Up until now, I've been getting a strange feeling from the president. Even so, I still respect the man. Zhangfa is a small country, but he carried the nation with his strength. The image of President Huang that Agent Lang described. He revealed his true form. Differs far too greatly from the President Huang we knew. It's as if the two were entirely different people. If there were, in fact, two Zhangfa presidents, exactly how would such a scenario be possible? What would make the existence of two presidents possible? One of them was a body double. Take that! If we were to assume that one of them was a body double, wouldn't that be possible then? A body double. President Huang possessed immense power and authority in Zhangfa. I'm sure there were those who envied his position and made attempts on his life. Yes, just as he was attacked a few days ago at Gold Lake. It's true there were those who sought Huang's life from time to time, but I can't easily believe there are two presidents. At least not without any evidence.
Do I have evidence to prove that there were two presidents? I must. Kidnaps demanded a ransom. $100 million. Dalong Lang confirmed that on the evening of the incident, the president was at Zhangfa Embassy until midnight. The president had an appointment at midnight. Jack Cameron as a witness. His body seems to have moved in a fake photo. Other hangs here once more. Gunpowder residue was found on his right hand. Contusions and bone fractures found across the body. Take that! Didn't Lang not notice this contradiction? Or has he noticed it but can't admit it?
What is it, Mr. Prosecutor? Don't shout something out only to suddenly clam up.
According to the recording on the door, the president visited the orphanage at midnight. However, that should not have been possible.
Huh? Why's that?
Why? Because at the time, the president should have been at the embassy. He was together with Agent Lang's father. So, Agent Lang, you really did notice. He was in two places at the same time. Ergo, there must have been two presidents. Then which of the two was the real president on that day 12 years ago? Most likely the one who died.
Who contacted Dogen to murder Huang?
Contracted. In order to learn that, first, we must have a look at the evidence that we proved was false earlier. And the piece of evidence we know to be false is take that! Nope.
Mr. Prosecutor, you already realized who's beyond the plot, right?
Yes, and I will show you... Shit, what was the false evidence? photo was false. Take that! The photo taken with Cameron's camera was taken after he was murdered. And he was murdered because he witnessed the presidential assassination. In other words, the photo must have been taken following the assassination. Given that, who is the president pictured in the fake photo? We must consider him to be the body double. In other words, the body double had the real president murdered and then took his place. Patricia Rowland and Blaze must have cooperated in that plan.
Hold it! Wayne's body was never found. Where could it have disappeared to?
The answer to that is already quite apparent. This is where the real president's body was. I know the answer to this one. Take that! Last night, there was something Blaze had to unearth with his own two hands. The item was not the ransom. It was something far more important.
So Blaze unburied
the real president's body. The possibility is quite high.
What do you say?
The bones from the body buried 12 years ago would have still remained. According to Mr. Powers, construction was to begin at this lot soon. That was the deadline. Both for the movie and the retrieval of the body.
Because they would have found the body when they started the construction.
Agent Lang, let us search the footprints that Blaze dug up.
Yeah. The body was buried there. There'd be traces of it. Hey, someone call forensics.
I have the results of the search. We found traces in the dirt that suggest the body was buried here.
So it was Huang after all.
We also recovered the skeletal remains that Blaze DeBest dug up. They were in his home. In addition to the bone structure, the dental records and the bone fractures all match up. We can confirm that it was indeed President Huang. So the real President Huang really was killed 12 years ago. The SS5 incident was a murder.
So the SS5 incident was actually a murder incident. But there's so much information, it's way too confusing.
Indeed, let us take this opportunity to review the details of the case.
First, the real president came to the orphanage, right?
12 years ago, the true President Huang visited the orphanage in order to meet his son. The footsteps in the snow that we thought belonged to Mr. Cameron were most likely made by the President at that time. President Huang was supposed to meet his son here. However, the one who actually showed up was the assassin, Siren Dogan.
He came to meet his son, but was murdered instead. How horrible.
A man like Dogan shows no mercy. And after that, the second tragedy occurred.
You mean Mr. Cameron's murder?
Indeed, Mr. Cameron saw the decisive moment. After the real president was killed by Dogan, his body was carried to the rear courtyard by a team of kidnappers. Mr. Cameron must have witnessed that moment from the orphanage entrance, although he himself believed that he had actually witnessed the kidnapping. Furthermore, by this time, the body double who had come to meet up with Blaze and Miss Rowland was already standing behind Mr. Cameron. And then, the witness to the incident, Mr. Cameron,
was killed by the body double. So was Mr. Cameron's corpse also carried by the body double?
Yes, it seems likely.
But there wasn't anything at the crime scene that looked like the body double's footprints.
I've already figured out how he accomplished that. There's a piece of evidence that would have made it possible. What did the body double use to move the body without leaving any footprints? I'm not sure. Take that! Yep, alright. This is almost certainly how the body double carried Mr. Cameron's corpse. So Mr. Cameron was killed. Sorry about that. The president's body double carried him into the middle of the garden. I suspect the body double was wearing the same shoes as the real president at the time. He made sure to sit precisely on top of the footprints left by the real president. Since the shoes were the same, there would only be one set of footprints left behind in the snow. I think I've got a pretty good grasp on the SS5 incident now. But there's still one thing I don't get. What's that? Why did they need to stage the abduction? Because Mr. Cameron witnessed the incident. He saw the president at the orphanage. He looked behind witness testimony on Miss Crane's answering machine. Even Blaze couldn't make that disappear. Ergo, the body double needed a reason for the president to have been at the orphanage. And that's why they prepared the fake kidnapping charade. The people in the fake photo are likely the body double, and most likely Patricia Rowland. The person in the coat is Miss Rowland? What makes you say that? The two would have had to leave the orphanage in order to take the picture. Just like when he moved the body, the double used the real president's footprints. So the second set of footprints must belong to the person in the coat. Indeed, we originally believed that those footprints belonged to Cameron's killer. They were size 7 footprints, too small for Blaze's feet. Thus, we can presume that the person playing the part of the kidnapper was Patricia Rowland. Hidden in the shadow of the presidential kidnapping was the presidential assassination.
I see. So that's why my old man...
Why he... what?
The old man must have realized that a murder had taken place. After all, he had the kid's drawing.
However, that picture was never presented as evidence. Your father most likely took it from the young witness during the investigation and hid it.
He had to have known that Huang was dead. What if he had revealed it back then?
Reveal the death of the president, the backbone of Zhang Fa. It would have caused chaos.
And that's why my old man took the secret to his grave. He even took the blame for their kidnapping, knowing that it would be the fall of the House of Lang.
So this is the truth that Agent Lang's father hid 12 years ago. And now it's all become clear. Huh? What?
Who's there?
That bell. It's... We know who it is, but we're gonna end off the episode for today. In the next episode of Miles Edgeworth AAI2 Investigations 2, Prosecutor's Path, the Grand Turnabout, we're going to find out the identity of the person with the bell. See you guys later.